That is not a human. I know. I know it looks like one. That is exactly the problem. The company behind that face is called AheadForm. They were founded in Shanghai in 2024 by a 26-year-old named Yu Hang, who, while he was still enrolled in a PhD program at Columbia University. Most robotics companies are racing to build bodies. Robots that walk, carry boxes, work on factory floors. Yu Hang, who looked at all of that, and decided the face was the missing piece, the part nobody was getting right. So that is all he focused on. AheadForm's mission, in their own words, is to dissolve the boundaries between screen and flesh, illusion and reality. That sounds like a sci-fi tagline. But when you watch that F1 clip, it does not feel like a tagline anymore. So how does a robot face become that convincing? Let's break it down. The F1 builds on everything AheadForm has learned across their product lines. Inside that face are up to 42 independent facial motors, tiny, brushless, ultra-quiet micromotors, each one controlling a specific muscle group. Eyebrow raises, cheek lifts, lip corners, micro expressions that last fractions of a second. The skin is silicone-based, engineered to stretch and wrinkle the way human tissue actually does. Not rigid, not plastic, soft and deformable. So when it smiles, the entire face moves, not just the mouth. The eyes have high-resolution cameras embedded directly in the pupils. It is not just watching you. It is tracking you, making eye contact, blinking at the right moment. And the AI behind it is not running pre-programmed expressions off a list. It is generating authentic emotional responses in real time, trained partly through a method called mirror self-training, watching human faces and learning to mirror them. The system can predict a smile forming on your face around 840 milliseconds before it happens, and respond before you even know you are smiling. The result is a face that does not just look alive. It feels alive. And that gap between looking alive and feeling alive is the one that actually breaks people's brains. The F1 is not where this story starts. AheadForm has been building toward this. Their first major release was Elf V1, a female-presenting android bust with 30 degrees of freedom in the face. It went viral immediately. The expressions were smooth in a way that other robots simply were not. Then came Elf Xuan. The name translates to beautiful jade, symbolizing purity, nobility, and timelessness. Xuan was developed in collaboration with NetEase Games to physically embody a character from a fantasy video game. Pink hair, delicate features, and underneath it, 42 independent facial motors pushing the expressiveness even further than V1 that performed on stage at the 2025 Taihu Music Festival, a heavy metal concert. A robot in stage lights. The crew even had a makeup artist prepare it backstage before the show. AheadForm also built a full android replica of a monk from Journey to the West and a mech-style robotic head directly inspired by the film Chappie. This is a company that is not just building technology. They are building characters, personalities, things that feel like they have an identity. Now here is the moment that I think most people outside of China completely missed. Earlier this year, ahead of Chinese New Year, a company called Agibot, one of China's biggest humanoid robot manufacturers, who shipped over 5,000 units in 2025 alone, hosted what they called the world's first robot-powered gala. In Shanghai, live, televised, over 200 robots on one stage. Dancing, performing martial arts, doing magic tricks with human magicians, executing synchronized fashion routines, even aerial illusions, all done by robots, in real time, in front of a broadcast audience. And one of the headline moments was Elf Xuan. Under stage lights, the pink-haired android stood at the front of a room full of other robots and sang a love ballad written by her own creator, Yu Hang, who composed the song himself for this performance. The audience was made up entirely of robots. Let that image sit for a second. A robot singing a love song to other robots on live television. The facial expressions during that performance were described by multiple outlets as strikingly lifelike. Not close, not impressive for a robot. Lifelike. Full stop. AheadForm is not alone. While they have been perfecting the face, several other Chinese companies have been doing the same thing, and 2026 is when they all surfaced at once. First, there is Moya, from a company called Droid Up based in Shanghai. Moya is a full bipedal humanoid, not just a head, and Droid Up calls it the world's most fully biomimetic intelligent robot. Here is the detail that gets people. Moya maintains a body temperature of 32 to 36 degrees Celsius. That is the range of human skin. If you touched it, it would feel warm. It has camera eyes that track and follow you. It is expected to begin shipping by the end of 2026. Then there is Anni from Anniwit Robotics in Hefei. Anni recently went viral across Chinese social media performing the Mandarin pop ballad Bubble by GM. Not as a demo clip, as a full cinematic music video. The performance had lighting, staging, camera work. It was produced. And it looked like a music video, not a robot showcase. And in Shenzhen, a startup called Digit Robotics just released a teaser of their next-generation android named Xiaolan. Feminine aesthetics, highly realistic skin, and yes, pink hair. At this point, pink hair might be the unofficial signal that a company is entering the space. All of these companies, all of these faces, all going public within the same few months. This is not a coincidence. It is policy. The Chinese government made it a national directive to mass-produce humanoid robots by 2025 and to own the global market by 2027. That directive sent billions into the sector. Dozens of companies formed. Agibot, Unitree, AheadForm, Droid Up, Anniwit. All of them operating with state-level tailwinds behind them. AheadForm itself secured investment from Shunwei Capital, China Merchants Venture, Shenzhen Capital Group, and Agibot directly. That last one matters, because Agibot is not just an investor, they are a manufacturing partner. Attaching the most expressive face in robotics to one of the highest volume humanoid producers in the world is not an accident. That is a roadmap. Yu Hang, who has said publicly that within 10 years, humans could be interacting with robots almost as peers. And in 20 years, those robots could walk, talk, and perform tasks indistinguishable from people. Based on what we have seen in the last 3 months alone, that timeline does not feel as far away as it used to. The F1 clip that opened this video is not a prototype reveal. It is a progress update. AheadForm has been building toward this for 2 years, and what you saw is where they are right now, not where they are going. The face problem is closer to being solved than most people realize. And once it is fully solved, once you genuinely cannot tell, everything about how we interact with machines changes. That is the story. And it is moving faster than anyone expected. If you want to stay on top of this space as it actually develops, subscribe to RoboFrontier. New video every week. No hype, just what is real.